Tell me guys, can you see my screen? Am I audible? Good evening and welcome to day 4 of our data science masterclass. And from now on we'll be having continuous sessions. Sorry for what happened in the past couple of days. So good evening and welcome once again. If I get some confirmation from your side, I could start with the session. And this is a day 4. Once again we are going to see about Matplotlib and Seaborn libraries which are used for visualization purpose. Okay, good evening. I hope I am audible. Everything is fine, right? Can I get some response in chat box? It will be really good if you reply me for my question so that I can continue with the session. Good evening. Yes, thank you. Thanks for the confirmation. So, before starting, in day 1 we have seen introduction, in day 2 we have seen pandas library, in day 3 we have seen numpy library, and in this session we are going to cover 2 libraries. One is Matplotlib, another one is Seaborn. Okay, so let us see. And why this is important is when you have the data, okay, the raw data when you have in CSV format, you will be having like a lot of numbers, right? So for example in pandas and all, we have opened and seen it. So if you just see it, what can you understand from it? Can you see anything from it? Can you understand or learn anything from it? No, you can't learn anything. You can't understand anything by looking at raw data. But if you find a way to convert it into numbers, in that numbers, if you convert it into some graphs, you can easily view it and you can understand the trend inside of it and understand what's happening there. So it can be used to make a lot of decisions. Okay, so first we'll work with Matplotlib. So I'll go through some of the plots and then we'll go and do it hands-on. Okay, so this Matplotlib is a library from Python. Is a graph plotting library in Python that serves as a visualization utility, and it has a module named PyPlot which makes things easy for plotting by providing many features, and it is able to create different types of visualization reports like line plots, scatter plot, histogram, bar charts, pie charts, box plot, and many more different plots. Okay, so for installing it, you have to go with pip install matplotlib. Okay, so this is a command to install Matplotlib library. I hope you have already tried installing pandas and numpy, right? So it won't be an issue for you guys, right? To install Matplotlib in whatever IDE you are using, it could be Google Colab or any other thing, right? And this Matplotlib library is actually quite vast, and we will be importing only particular package which is PyPlot, and we will be working on it. And to make it or mention an alias name and give it a short name, we will be giving it as PLT. Okay, so we are importing matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, and this is what anatomy of a Matplotlib figure. Can you guys see it? I even give you some time to view it. Can you guys, 1 minute guys, can you guys see what is there? Okay, what is this anatomy of a figure? So when you go for a Matplotlib chart, and if you are getting a chart from it, so you will be provided with a lot of additional features like these which are optional, which you could leverage and you could get it. Okay, and this will be really helpful in lot of places. Okay, and we can have, for example, we can set a title, we can set a legend will tell you which color of line is which one, and we can have major text, we can have minor text, we can have X label, Y label. Okay, and markers, line color and all, you could set it different, and you could set the size of it. So all these things comes under the anatomy of a Matplotlib figure, which we can alter later on. So starting with line plot. Okay, so first plot we are going to see is line plot. So if you I'll tell you what is line plot and when you have to use line plot and all. Okay, so this line plot is a plot, okay, which like plots between the x and y axis, and it will help you to find what is the trend over the time and all can be obtained or can be visualized in this line plot. Any idea how a line plot looks like? So we'll connect to it. So I already have this Matplotlib, so I'm going to skip this part of installation. Okay, so we'll directly import Matplotlib and start with, for example, if I am having x point and y point, I'm just creating two numpy array of 0, 50. Okay, and I'm going to plot it. Okay, so if you want to create a line plot, you can go with plt.plot and you could pass your x and y value. So this plt is your Matplotlib, and if you call just plot, it's line plot. And once you have done it, for printing or showing the output, you could go with plt.show. It's like printing. Okay, in Python we used to print our output, right? So this show command from Matplotlib will show the previous graph, and this is what that particular 50, 50 graph will look like. Okay, 0 here. This is 0, 0, right? So the first point is 0, 0, and the next point is 50, 50. So it's here. So it's just, since you have called the plt.plot, it has just drawn a straight line for you connecting 0, 0 and 50 cross 50. Okay. For example, if I have another point, for example, instead of 0, 50, if I have multiple points like this, okay, it could be x, could be 1, 2, 5, 7. In y is respective thing, and they should be equal. So which means in x-axis, if the value is 1, the value of y they have given as 3, and then for 2 it's 8. Okay, so you could see this is a straight line, but this will give you a different line plot. Okay, first I'll remove this additional stuff. I'm just plotting x, y and going with plt.show, and this is what this will look like. Can you guys tell me what point this is? This is from which point? Can you tell me what's the x and y coordinate? Can you guys tell me what is the x and y coordinate there? Can you guys post down in chat box? It is x value is 2 and y value is 8, right? So that's what is here. Yeah, correct. 2 cross 8 or 2, 8, good. So here you have additional option. For example, you can mention a line style. Okay, this is optional. Dotted is one of the common thing. So I'll try to use this dotted. So you have different set of lines. See here, this will help me to get a dotted line like this, right? So you could also avail something like this. Okay. So check out the documentation of Matplotlib and find out and tell me guys in tomorrow's session what all different line styles are available. Okay, so yeah, so that's what is here. Same thing, yeah. And you can also have, for example, okay, so without this will be getting the same graph like this we have obtained previously. So if you want grid, okay, I hope you guys know what's a grid. It will be like a background transparent line for helping us to find which point is which easily. So you could add this line which is plt.grid. So if you are enabling it, then you will be having grid lines in the background. So if I run this, I'll be getting these grid lines in the background, which is from Matplotlib if you go with plt.grid. Okay, like that. If you want to set a x label and y label, you have to go with plt.x label. See here we don't have any label and all, it's just a graph, right? And another thing, if you want to save this graph, just right click on this, you could copy this image, save image as respective thing which you want. Okay, and scrolling below, you can set a x label, and inside the parenthesis you could pass some label. For example, here I am just mentioning this is x-axis, and here this is plt.y label, and this is y-axis. And let us go with that and see. And you could see, right? So we are getting a x-axis label and y-axis label. So we're talking about in data science, it's really important for you to represent it as nice as possible, and not only nice, it should be able to convey the story to the client or the stakeholders. So it is important to specifically mention all the details like the x-axis, y-axis, legend, title, and so on. Okay, you could also set a title with plt.title, and what all title you are giving, so that will be set as a title. So this is the title, and this is x-axis label, this is y-axis label, this is grid. Fine. So all these things are additional options. So that's what we have seen from the anatomy of Matplotlib. So I hope it's clear about line plot. If it's fine, we could move into subplots. Can we start with subplot? Can we start with that, guys? And before that, so if you want to convert this data science masterclass into a certified internship on data science, you could join as an internship user. So if you join as an internship user, you will be getting 21-day session videos, 90 days of access to those records, source codes of projects. We will be seeing more than 8+ data science projects, downloadable PPTs. We will be having Zoom sessions. So weekly we will be having a Zoom session. So if you join us as an internship user, you will be having personalized support there to clarify your doubt, and you could get internship confirmation letter and internship certification when you complete the internship. And to avail this, the link will be posted soon in chat box. It is costing around 799 rupees. So if you are interested, you could join as an internship user and get these internship benefits. And these are all the projects which we are included in this internship. A Power BI project which we are going to see day after tomorrow. Data analytics projects on Netflix data we will be seeing tomorrow. Classification projects on customer churn prediction. Supply chain optimization for FMCG company. Retail customer purchase behavior clustering. Amazon recommendation system detecting malicious URLs project. Amazon product review project and time series analysis on stock price data. So these are all the projects. You will be getting these projects, downloadables and all, if you join as an internship user. So if you want to avail that, make use of the opportunity. The link is posted in the chat box. Okay, so continuing with subplots. So talking about subplot, this is a single plot, but it contains a lot of subcategories, small plots inside of a single plot. For example, if you want to show some comparisons, if you want to show multiple things inside of a plot, then you could add this subplot. So talking about the subplot, if you want to do it, it's simple. You have to just declare a position and then you have to plot it. Declare a position and then plot it. So how it is declared? Just ignore this right side. Okay, don't see this. Ignore or consider this left side image. Okay. So I am having this 6 images, 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom, and I am having some numbering here. Can you see it? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5 and 2, 3, 6. From this, what I can understand this, only the third thing changes here, the remaining thing is same, which is 2, 3, which is nothing but 2 row and 3 column format, which means this is a row and this is column. So this 2, 3 represents it's a 2 row and 3 column splitted image, so which has totally 6 images. So you have option of first image, second image, third image, fourth image, fifth image and sixth image. Okay, so if you declare 2, 3, which means 2 row and 3 column, you have options of displaying 6 individual images. So you have to call it one by one and then pass the respective values to plot it. Here I have, see here I have gone with 1, 2, which means 1, 2 means how many image you can have, guys, in 1, 2, which means 1 row and 2 column, which will be only 1 row and this 2 column alone, which means you will be able to have this 2 images only. Okay, these 2 images only, and the first I have declared here blt.subplot, the plots for first image, and plt dot subplot the plot for second one. Once I have plotted it, I have just went with plt dot show. So you could implement this in hands-on. See here, 1 comma 2 means 1 row and 2 column. Okay, so here also 1 comma 2. So this is 1 row and 2 column format. Could you see it? 1 row and 2 columns. So if you want to have a third image, okay, so what you have to do is, I'll just plot the same details here, but I have to change this into 1 row 3 column, which means 3 images can be accommodated. So duplicate will be also there. Okay, like that you can split it into parts. Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? Is it clear about this? About subplot? Clear? Fine. So next we are going to see about scatter plot. This can also be plotted between x and y value. It can be helpful for finding the trend, and outliers can be detected, grouped things can be found out, okay, whether it's an increasing trend or decreasing trend, that can be found from the scatter plot. So if you have scatter like points, you could go with plt.scatter, and if you have multiple different points, then you could go once again. So they will be represented in different colors. Okay, the term is scatter for it. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go with this sample scatter plot for you guys. Okay, so for these points, for example, if the x value is 5, the y value I have given is 99. So that point will be something around here. Okay, so that's how every point is plotted with x and y values. And this can be simple, but it will be really helpful if you use a real data set. For example, I am loading this hard CSV, okay, hard data set. Fine. So here I am going to perform a lot of things, and just imagine your pandas skills once again. Okay. So here the x-axis I am going to plot is, okay, in my heart, okay, the age of people who is having a target of 0, okay, versus heart dot the people who are having the cholesterol value, who are having heart disease absent, which is 0. Similarly, for heart disease patient present, so where the target is equal to 1, okay, their age will be x-axis and their cholesterol values will be y-axis. So I am plotting this with plt.scatter, and I am setting some title, label, and if you want this legend, you could go with plt.legend, and this is how the plot will look like. Okay, so this is for the details. Here we can see there is an outlier, okay, the age versus cholesterol, and heart disease absent, those people who are having blue color, and heart disease present, those people who are having this orange color. Their respective point is plotted here. Okay, so this is how you could also narrow it down and then plot and see it using scatter plot. And moving into the next plot, we are going to see about bar plot. So this bar plot is used to represent, okay, the height or overall distribution. For example, if I am having 4 peoples, what is their height? Okay, how much A, how much B is there, how much C, how much D is there. So to do this, you could go with BAR, plt.bar, and you could pass a height value and a respective label for it. For example, it will look like this. Okay, now from this you could tell me, guys, which is the highest and which is the lowest one. Can you guys tell me? D is the highest, right? So D is the label, that will be x-axis, the respective label, and their height will be in y-axis. Okay. And you also have an option of horizontal bar plot. So to do that, you have to go with bar H. So that will help you to get a horizontal bar plot, something like this, just bar H. Okay. So that will help you to get a plot something like this. For example, we have diabetes data set, it's a sample data set, and here we have a outcome column. So if you go with value counts, you will get how many 0 and how many 1, right? So what I could do is I could integrate it here in the bar plot. Okay, so this will help me to find the number of patients who don't have diabetes, which means 0 is nearly 500 people, and number of people having it is around 250, right? So we are getting this from the visualization. What we had here, we are viewing it in the plot also, right? Yes, correct. D is highest, C is lowest. Very good. Okay. So this is bar plot and horizontal bars, and we have something similar which is called as histograms, where bar plot is for categorical values, or if you want to find the count of it, if you want to show their height difference, how much, who is biggest, who is high, who is low and all, you could go with bar plot. But if you have continuous values like age value and all, these are continuous, you can't go and plot people's age in the bar plot, but you could go and do it with a histogram. Okay, so this histogram is something like a continuous bars. It will help you to find the relationship between x and y. It's a continuous value, and to do that you have to go with dot hist, and it will help you to find the overall distribution. For example, let us go and get this age column. So if I want to view this age column alone, I could go and plot it in hist plot, which is histogram, and there is an option called as bins. So I'll tell you what it is. So this is what a histogram, it will sometimes, based on the data, it may look like this, or it may look like a bell-shaped curve, something like this can be obtained. But what is this? What is this for is, it will try to split it into 4 parts. This is first part, this is second part, this is third, and this is 4. For example, if I have 10 here, this bin is a feature in histogram. See here, it will try to split them into 10 parts, right? So like that you could go and pass continuous values in a histogram, and you could get some nice graphs like this. Okay, clear? And we have box plot, and this box plot will be really good in the next library which we will be seeing, which is Seaborn. And I'll show you, if you want to do it with Matplotlib, you can go with dot box plot. And see here guys, a box plot anatomy is like this, where you will be having a middle line which is called as the median value, and anything upper and lower to 25% of it, which belongs to quartile group 2 and 3, they belong to 25th quartile. Okay, anything above that will be this will be the 50th, and this will be 50th, total is 50, right? And anything above this whisker, upper whisker and lower whisker are the bounds, and anything above and beyond that will be the outlier value, which we are going to learn a lot about in the further sessions when we have statistics classes. I'll explain you what is outlier, this quartile, range, and so on. So if you plot your continuous value, it will help you to get a box plot with pld.boxplot. And this is how we could see that a lot of outlier is here. So that's what these points is determining, and the average value of not having diabetes is around here. Average value of having diabetes, the people, is here. And I have obtained this by plotting 2 things. Okay, I am passing labels no diabetes and diabetes, and I am passing a list here, patient or age of patients who have who don't have diabetes, and age of patients who have diabetes. So both things have been passed here. And finally, in Matplotlib we are going to see one chart, which is pie chart, and I hope you have already seen about pie charts and all, used in lot of places. So for example, if I have a distribution of overall 100, it should be, if you want to tell which percent, for example, if this guy is 35%, he is 25%, he is 25%, and remaining is 15, you could go with dot pi. And not only that, you could also add labels. For example, you need to know what is what, right? So 35% is apples, 25% is bananas, 25% again is cherries, and last 15% is dates. So you could pass that labels as a list, okay, in labels, and you could get some nice graph like this. I have x values and y values, and this is what the label, legend, and overall distribution. From the color itself you could tell, right? So this orange is the most part, and then apple and kiwi are equal, and banana is the lowest one among these percent distributions, right? Clear? So you could also, for example, we have hard target. So yes and no values, if you plot it, and if you go with this auto PCT, okay, it will help you to get the percentage values also here, which will be available. Okay, so you could get the percentage also if you go by format specifier of 1.1f is for one step after the decimal point, right? Clear? So these are all some of the graphs which you could do, but you need to, like, first you need to learn this, and when we see a project tomorrow of how to apply this into a practical project, you could understand much more better of practically implementing these plots, because there are certain places where you have to go with certain plots and all. So it will be easy when you cope up in the next project. So if it is clear, we could go and start our next library, which is going to be Seaborn. And in the meantime, so if you want to convert this masterclass into a certified internship, you could join as an internship user. You will be getting all these benefits of 21-day sessions, downloadable source code, project, a confirmation letter, and an internship certification. So you could get it in a discounted fee of $799. The link is posted in the chat box. And these are all the projects, and tomorrow we are going to see a Netflix data analytics project, and then later on day after tomorrow we will start with a Power BI project on population data set. Fine. So Matplotlib is actually one of the vast library. It is used, widely used, but we have another library in Python which is called as Seaborn, which is well known for its visual attractiveness. It looks very good. Okay, for example, this Seaborn is a popular Python data visualization library that is built on top of the Matplotlib library, and Seaborn offers a variety of functions to generate different types of visualizations such as scatter plots, bar plots, heat maps, violin plot, and many others. And it provides a high level interface for creating informative and visually attractive statistical graphics. And to install this, you could go with pip install Seaborn, and you could import the Seaborn as SNS. And here also we can have scatter plot and other plots also. So we'll go one by one, with starting with Seaborn. I'll connect to it. So you could use pip install Seaborn to install Seaborn and import it. And Seaborn, what is the advantage with Seaborn is Seaborn has some predefined data sets, for example. So I am just loading that data set using load underscore data set. You have to pass the keyword like iris, Titanic. Okay, so these are some of the key terms. You could use your own data set. Seaborn providing data set also for you to practice. So I'll use that data set using load data set. So it is a, I'll tell you guys, we have seen Matplotlib, right? Now we will see Seaborn. You will understand how visually appealing it is. So we have different columns here: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. Finally, we have a species column. So if I check the species, we will be having three different species: Setosa, versicolor, and virginica in this iris dataset, flower dataset it is. So you could set a theme in Seaborn. I'll set it to dark. And for scatter plot, you have to go with dot scatter plot. In Matplotlib it's scatter, pld dot scatter. Here it's scatter plot. Here you can directly pass your data set, which is iris. Okay, and you could pass your x value and y column name directly, since you are passing your data set. I'll remove these additional things for now. Okay, I'll remove these things, and first we'll plot scatter plot for now. So this is what the scatter plot is looking like. We have some groups here. We have a wide range of groups here. This is sepal length in x-axis and petal length in y-axis, right? So I'm going to add another feature here, guys. See here, you have an option something known as hue. So what is this hue is? Hue is for color differentiation. Here if I want to add a color differentiation, which means based on color I want to differentiate their species. So species is 3 different types, right? So now if I add that hue, this is what we are getting. Can you guys see it? So we could see from this single line, we could see that Setosa is having very low sepal length and petal length, versicolor is having medial, and Virginica is having the like very large sepal length and petal length. So these things can be obtained from hue, and this is not only limited for scatter plot. Whatever plot you are plotting, you could go with x value, y value and hue value, and you can also have a size value here. You could pass a column here, so it will help you to differentiate them based on their size. So we could see that the Setosa is having very low size, okay, small dots of petal width. So the petal width is very low here. Everything is low here for Setosa. For versicolor, Virginica, we could see the size increases, right? So that's how we could use Seaborn. This is the difference between Matplotlib library and Seaborn library. And this is scatter plot. You have option of hue, size, and you could also add colors also. Palette. RDBU is a color palette, so you could check the different color palettes. Different colors can also be vibrant colors can be obtained. Okay. So if it's available, it will be coming. Can you guys see it? Different color versions. So these are some of the things you could check their documentation. This looks good, right? So these things you could obtain. The next I'll load Titanic dataset and we'll see how to plot a bar plot in Seaborn. Okay, moving into bar plot in Seaborn. For bar plot, you could go with bar plot. In Matplotlib, it's dot bar. Here it's bar plot, and here also you could pass all these features of hue, color palette, size, and also possible. So I am plotting. Okay, can you guys see what I am plotting here? In Titanic dataset, how many male and female survived, and which in hue I have passed their passenger class. So from this I could tell that female survived the most and male survived least, because most preference are being given to female. And also the first class passenger, you could see the color brown color is high because first class passenger have survived a lot compared with second class. Compared with third class, they are very least survived. Okay, all these things, stories I can tell with these single line, right? And you also have a plot which is called as count plot. So instead of value underscore counts, if you want to count and plot it, instead of going with value counts and then going into bar plot, you could directly go into count plot. Okay, so you could pass that particular thing. For example, if I pass this embarked column, it is giving me S is 600, more than 600, C is 180, and Q is less than 100, right? So if you want to pass the gender and find, you could pass that column also. So I am not going with value counts, I could directly go with count plot. That will directly count it and give you the count of it. Okay. And as we have seen earlier, we also have box plot. Okay. So this box plot we have seen, right, the outliers and all, you could also obtain from Seaborn using SNS.boxplot. You could pass x value and y value. I am passing the iris data set with x values as species and y value is their spell length. Okay, so how nice it is. Can you guys see compared with Matplotlib? This is really good, right? And this is their median value. That's what we could understand from here. Their median value will be in the central line, the quartile range, and outliers will be marked here. Okay. Clear, guys, about Seaborn? We have a new plot here which is called as pair plot. So if you just call your pair plot, you could pass data. Optionally, you could pass hue. I'll show you. It is an automatically plotted plot. So I'll just remove these things. I'm just in pair plot. I'm going with just my data set, iris entirely. So let us see what it is providing in the output. Okay, so this is what it is providing me. It is providing me a combination of graphs, which is nothing but in left hand side I am having the column names, and in y axis and x axis the same column names. They are interlinked and their relationship is plotted. Okay, automatically. How petal length is related with petal width, you could get it from here. How sepal width is related with petal width, you could get it from here. It's like a correlation plot. In graph it will give you. Also here you could add a hue value. I'll add color species, and the palette, color palette also I'll set it to set 1. For color we'll get some nice graphs here. This is furthermore nice, right? So this is the legend for you to find their respective. For example, if I want to find the relationship between sepal length and sepal width, okay, sorry, petal width and sepal width, this is here, and this is their relation. Instead of one by one manually, I could get these things, and if it's a continuous value, you will be getting a line graph like this. Based on their feature, the plots will be generated for you. Okay, this is pair plot. And then heat maps. I hope you have learned in pandas. When you learned pandas, you would have learned correlation, right? For a .corr and all, a correlation table which tells you how one is related with the other, like the above, right? So this is actually correlation table. It ranges from a value of -1 to +1, and if it's -1, it's highly negatively correlated. If one increases, the other completely decreases. And if it's 1, which means high positive correlation, if one increases, the other also increases. If it's 0, there is no correlation. So you could take this, okay, for example for Titanic also, so you could take this correlation and then you could go into heat map, okay, and if you directly pass it, you will be getting a lot of colors like this, how one column is related with the other based on the color. So you could add additional features inside of it, like color bar as true. You could add a line width, okay, annotation as true will help you to get numbers inside, and you have to mention a format. I'll mention 0.1f, and I'll set a color map as blues. So with all these additional features, it will be something like this. I hope color bar is here, line width is the gap between them, now it's available. Color map is blues to get blue color graph, and annotation I am setting it to true, and the format is 0.1f. Okay, you could get, if you join as an internship user, you could get all these. Otherwise you could get benefited by watching this video on YouTube free. And yeah, so that is heat map, and what this heat map will tell you is how one column is related with the other, okay, how far is related with age, okay, how survived or not is related with the other. You could get that here in heat map, and based on the color you could find if one increases, other increases or decreases, and their trend and so on. Like histogram, we have dist plot here with sns.distplot. It's actually really interesting. I'll load a new data set which is tips, okay. So for example, we have a total bill amount, tip amount and so on. So if I just plot this dist plot, it will give you a histogram along with a continuous line value here, which will help you to understand it furthermore better. Okay, it's hist plot. If you have it in Seaborn, it's dist plot here, and you will be getting it with the KDE plot also, a line with that line. Okay, and also you have another plot out of this, I'll tell you, which is KDE plot. So that will help you to get this line alone. See here, the line alone. If you want to plot a line plot, you can go with KDE plot. Okay, if you want like this, you can go with dist plot. And finally, we are going to complete this with a plot which is called as violin plot. With sns.violin plot, there are some graphs which is called as violin graphs. So I'll go with the x value as day and y value as tip, and this is what the plot will look like, and this will give you the median value like box plot. Okay, and this is how you could see, for example, how much the tip is, the value is, how much it is elongated will give you their width also. So it's like a box plot upgraded one in violin plot. So that's it about Seaborn. So this is just an implementation today of how to do how. Okay, so practically we will be implying it, thinking it, and then going and taking decisions on images and then plotting it in the next session on the project. So we'll see in next class. Thank you. Thanks for attending day 4. From today onwards, we'll be having regular classes at 8 to 9. So please make sure you are attending it. And if you want to join as an internship user, you could join as an internship user and get benefited by obtaining. You could get all these 21 days of live session, access to these records, source codes of projects, downloadable PPTs, Zoom sessions to clarify your doubt personally, internship confirmation letter and Pantech internship certification. And the final fee of it is $799. You could use the link which is provided in the chat box. So these are all the projects. Tomorrow we will be seeing a data analytics projects with what we have learned using pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib and Seaborn. So make sure you are attending tomorrow's session. Thank you and good night. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in tomorrow's session.